The Mariners have set another MLB record, signing Colt Emerson, who has yet to debut. Cody Ponce and the Blue Jays are reeling from his recent exit, and Clayton Kershaw is joining the Dodgers once again.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk it back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen, oh yeah.
That's right. We are back to the bullpen, presented to you by Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network on the planet. And look, Mike and I, between us, 2 decades on air and on the mic. But Mike, you spent nearly 2 decades in Major League Baseball. And so we love to have that player's perspective. We've got the fan perspective here from myself. You know, I'm excited about tonight's show. Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. And I can tell you, when I came up from the minor leagues, I did not get a contract that like Colt Emerson did. That is for sure. They didn't do that back then.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure there are nights when you go, man, if I could have held off, being born a few years later.
No, you know what? I do have people ask me about that. You go, well, how do you feel about, you know what? Whatever they can get, more power to them. I'm not going to be one of those grumpy former players, back when I played. No, that's not going to be me a lot, because you know what? There were players before I got paid that they had all the work. They had to do all the work in order for me to get paid. So I'm completely on board with anything that happens. And this is a big contract. There is no doubt about this. The Mariners have stepped up and broke their own major league record.
Yeah, that's right. Tonight, we're going to hit on a former Dodger becoming a Dodger once again. He's not pitching. He has retired. Right. Yeah, it is a real shocker that Clayton Kershaw would return to the franchise where he pitched his entire career, which is remarkable for any player to be able to say that. And then we'll talk about in our first segment, we're going to talk about Cody Ponce and the Blue Jays, because this is a big deal. And then we'll get into some of the details on Colt Emerson and how this has set a record and what this means in the Mariners' faith in such a young hitter.
Right.
But Cody Ponce was an offseason, gamble for the Blue Jays. He was really facing his first major stress test, in his first start since 2021. He lasted 2 1/3 innings before suffering right knee discomfort after a hyperextension.
Yeah.
Fielding the ball, PFP, comebacker. The visual is brutal. I don't know if you've seen the footage of it, but it did not look good.
No, and the crazy thing is, how many times did he do this very move in spring training? How many times did he cover first base in spring training? Hundreds of times. I mean, it is an ongoing thing that you do. If you're not pitching, you're on the backfield, you're doing PFPs. And so this was just a fluke accident that happened. Now, who is Cody Ponce? This is a guy that has pitched in Korea, and actually didn't just pitch in Korea. He was actually their version of a Cy Young and MVP. I mean, the last person we heard that had done something like that, from the Far East was actually Yamamoto with the Dodgers. Now, that was in Japan. That wasn't the KBO, but Ponce threw the ball extremely well for the last couple of years in Korea. And they stepped up, signed him to a 3-year deal, they being the Blue Jays. And this was his first start. And it's unfortunate that he went down. He was carted off the field. It was March 30th, suffering that right knee injury. It ends up being diagnosed as a right ACL sprain. Okay. And they don't even have a time frame yet, just because they don't know how severe it is. They're going to have to give it a little bit of time to see how his body reacts to the injury. And this is obviously a team that is supposed to be good. They are good.
Right.
Okay. They have, they've got a top of the rotation that can pretty much go against anybody with Dylan Cease and Kevin Gausman. Then they have some injuries. They do have Max Scherzer, but Trey Savage. This is a guy that had a great postseason last year. He is out with right shoulder impingement. He's expected to throw 3 innings or 45 pitches in a simulated game here in just a couple days. Jose Barrios, another one, right? Was it right elbow stress fracture, which this was one of the weirdest things I ever heard, because, stress fracture is what? It's a break. But he didn't have any symptoms, and it was just crazy. And they were going to let him. He didn't even know it was happening until they tested for it. And what is his schedule? His schedule, he's going to throw a bullpen. He threw a bullpen today. Was supposed to throw a bullpen today, and then live BP in a few days. And then you still have Shane Bieber, who's yet another, big name starter that's supposed to be in that rotation. And he has right elbow inflammation. He's supposed to be he's going to be off the mound for the first time here in a couple of days. And then you have Yimi Garcia also, who's coming back from a right elbow injury. So they have quite a list of guys.
Yeah, that's a litany of that's a litany of guys. And to go back to Ponce, he is a guy that he kind of fell out of favor in Major League Baseball, went to the KBO, and you see this from time to time. Guys go over to the KBO, they go over the MPB or wherever they go to try to build up who they are, recreate themselves, maybe reinvent themselves to come back. And it's tough because not only is that a 3-year, $30 million deal, but it's coupled with all these other injuries. And there's just simply nothing you can do about it. You can't rewind time. You can't do anything except go forward and hope for the best news, which means hopefully he's not out indefinitely for the season. Hopefully it's something he can come back and contribute. But they didn't, all the depth they had is in the injured pitchers that they have.
It is. If you look at each one individually, you say, well, there's an avenue for them coming back. So, we've seen other teams go through something like this. And listen, all these guys, they're not going to be answered in a positive manner. Somebody's going to have a setback or something like that. But you hope that a couple of these guys actually bounce back pretty quickly. It sounds like Savage, throwing 3 innings, 45 pitches, in a simulated game. He's a little bit more advanced. As far as Ponce is concerned, we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, it is not a full tear. That was not the report. The report was an ACL sprain. So, but there's different grades of sprain. Right. Again, you'll have to wait and see. So hopefully this isn't something that's going to keep him out a long time, because it's actually a pretty cool story that he's in Major League Baseball. He got a cup of coffee, didn't work out, goes a little different route than just minor league baseball, goes to the KBO, pitches his butt off, wins an MVP, wins a, KBO Cy Young. I don't even know what it's called, but it's a Cy Young, and then gets to come back to the United States. So a pretty cool story, and someone that I'm rooting for, because you'd love to see a guy that's had this kind of resiliency have some success.
And, they have eternal options. They have Grant Rogers. They have Lazaro Estrada, Chad Dallas, and CJ Vinek. And probably the one that's the most likely to come in and fill the spot is probably Lazaro Estrada, simply because he already has MLB experience. It would be the easiest transition, and it would be the least organizational shock for the club.
Yeah, but it's still not the same. It's not the same as having, even Trey Savage. We saw him. He was outstanding in the postseason last year. To have him come back, even though he's a really young pitcher as far as his experience is concerned. Right. Hopefully, he's going to be sooner than later.
Right. But it's still in the long run better to have somebody who does have some MLB experience. But what we're going to do in our next segment is we're going to talk about this Colt Emerson and why the Mariners signing him to this deal is a big deal, and what it says about the confidence that the Mariners have in Colt Emerson next. Hello, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an app that I use every time I go to the ballpark. It is an easy app. We know MLB is back. And, the only problem, though, is getting the tickets, the grind, the long queues, the surprise fees, the prices jumping at checkout. Well, that's where Game Time comes in. The app gives the fans, you and I, the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences just in just a few taps. The best price in 100% authentic tickets, and the best part, the fees are included. The seat view feature is huge. The zone deals lets you and I pick the section, and then they actually pick the seats. It saves us time. It saves us money. You can also follow your favorite team and get alerts when new deals drop. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats in minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit a game. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets, with buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Use a code Locked On for $20 off. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today and make sure that you check out the Everydayer Club. The Everydayer Club has got a really cool feature going on right now. And if you become a part of the Everydayer Club, you can use the code FINALLY. Why would you do that? Because you get your first month free. You'll unlock every episode ad-free, get access to our private listener group chat. Just tap the link in the show notes and use the code FINALLY to claim your free month with the Everydayer Club. And Everydayers would love this show without the ads. And I know for me, I would love that too. I actually do have to tattle on myself. I do have a couple Everydayer memberships within the Locked On network. So I'm not just someone who promotes it. I'm someone who
you're not just a host, you're a customer also.
That's right. I'm a customer. And it's advantage. And you know what's cool is the more shows that you're a part of, you get a discount with the more shows that you add.
See, and that is right up your alley. If it's for free, it's for me. It's not for free, but you put a percentage discount on it, you're all in.
That's right. And you know who's all in? Speaking of all in, Mike, the Seattle Mariners.
Oh, look at you. You crushed it.
Made one of the boldest bets in baseball. Okay. What is it we say about prospects? They're basically one.
There's a very thin line between prospect and suspect.
There you go. Prospect is one step away from being suspect, right? Well, they put their money where their mouth is.
Again.
8 years. That's right. They've done this before. 8 years, $95 million, a 9th year club option, a full no trade clause, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And escalators that push this past $130 million.
Crazy.
It is the largest contract ever for any player with 0 MLB service time.
Right. Has yet to make his big league debut, and it does bypass the Milwaukee Brewers signed Major League Baseball's top prospect Jackson Chourio in 2023 to an 8-year, $82 million contract. And you go, well, why would you give this dude $95 million? Now listen, he's 20 years old. He can't even go buy a beer yet. Somebody would have to buy it for him. His parents would have to, sit with him because he's got to be supervised.
That's right.
$95 million. Now, he doesn't get all of it up front, obviously. He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid pretty good right now, but it's going to be all backloaded. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in this contract. But you know what this really means? They are 100% sold that this dude's going to be a big hit. He had a really good year in 2025 in 3 stops, A-ball, AA, and AAA. Part of that was done at 19 years old. Now he's 20. He'll turn 21 in July. He's legit. He's got some power. They think he's going to be about a 20 home run bat, but he doesn't strike out a lot. He puts the ball in play. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. The interesting thing about this is he's coming out of high school. And a lot of times high school hitters, it takes longer for them to develop because they just don't have the experience against the high velocity. But this cat right here, he has just pretty much done it all in AAA. They did send him down to Tacoma, to AAA, right at the end of spring training. And I guess just maybe to ease the being sent
the
down,
pressure. Right.
they give him $95 million.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, here you go, kid. I could sit in AAA for 95 million. I would sit in high A for 95 million. But he hit 285 with 16 home runs and 78 RBI across 130 games in 2025. He is a top 10 prospect. Like you said, he is not susceptible to striking out. What are hitters doing more than ever? They're striking out. And why are they striking out? Because of the pitches that are being thrown at them, the game plan. We've talked about how not only are starters good, but your bullpen's good. And so when you get a guy that profiles as someone who has, this guy would have what I call a high floor. And if you have a high floor, that means your ceiling is through the roof.
It can be. I mean, are they predicting this guy is going to be a perennial all-star? Yeah. I don't know if that's the case, but he's going. He also plays solid defense, both short and third. So there's some versatility there. So listen. More power to him. I mean, he's a pretty good sized kid. He's 6 foot. He's listed at 195 pounds. We'll have to see, when he gets to the big leagues and he gets on the ABS height scale, the height scale, if he sticks to 6 foot. We'll go over that in the next day or two, because there's some big leaguers that have lost some inches in their height, according to the strike zone. Kind of a pretty funny story, but hey, listen, they have him listed as a shortstop. He plays third, he plays second. Like I said, there's versatility there, and they don't have any doubt with what he did last year and his advanced approach at the plate, which means he doesn't offer pitches out of the zone all that much. He's got a pretty slow heartbeat, that this dude is going to be in Seattle in short order, and he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, he is. I mean, again, a pre-debut signing like this is huge. So my question is this to you, Mike. Are teams getting smarter in their evaluation of players? And is that why you're seeing contracts like this versus not seeing that 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
What they think they're doing, okay, and they being the Mariners, is they think that this former first round pick in 2023 is 22nd overall out of a high school in Ohio. They think they're saving money. That's what they're thinking. Okay, they're not doing it because, listen, it's 8 years of major league. It starts now so he signs, but it's 8 years. So even if he goes to the big leagues now, it would be 6 years of contract ball, and then they would take 2 years of his free agency also. So they're saying that in those 8 years, they're predicting he is going to make substantially more than $95 million, or then there wouldn't be any reason to sign him to this contract. So, your question was, are they getting smarter? They're getting bolder. I think that's definitely, but and you're not seeing these contracts all over everywhere. We saw the Houston Astros do Jose Altuve for like a song and a dance. That's not what this is. This is $95 million. This is a substantial financial burden on this organization. So, they feel like Colt is going to be a dude.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I want to mention and I want to bring up, because I know our fans will want to know about this. You and I are going to be joining the Locked On Astros podcast in a special event in April. April 25th, you can catch Mike Stanton and myself and Eric the Man Heisman from Locked On Astros, April 25th at Biggio's Restaurant. And this is before the 6-10 game, the Yankees versus the Astros. We'll be live at Biggio's. Come by, meet us, take a picture with us. We also have, if you go to the Locked On Astros MLB page and go to my X account, you will see we have group tickets for them. So if you want to come to the game and you want to join, the join the festivities and be a part of that game, you can do that. But 4 to 4:30, Back to the Bullpen will be live, and then 4:30 to 5, a Locked On Astros live podcast. So it'll be fun at Bijou's Restaurant. That's right across from Dyken Park. And if you're listening, it's at 1777 Walker Street, Houston, Texas, 77010 in the lobby of the Marriott Marquis Hotel. So in our next segment, we're going to talk about a Dodger returning to the Dodgers, a former Dodger, but he's not going to pitch. This time he's going to have a little bit different role. We'll hit that up next. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to Back to the Bullpen, and I want to tell you about our friends at Robinhood. Sports and markets are amazing, but what if sports were traded like markets? And now you can take your sports IQ and put it to the test in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not just you against the house, it's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Also, you use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you move with it. I've always known the game, but I've never had a dynamic way of applying that knowledge. Now I can actually take part, and in the market powered by people, you no longer are just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. And also, we want you to check out our friends at TurboTax. Why? Because it's tax season, and tax season as well. It's kind of blah. We don't like it. It's tough. We don't understand it, but we're giving you an upgrade. How is that? That is with Intuit TurboTax. When you try booking an appointment, it's not convenient. When you sit in a waiting room with a stack of papers, it's just not fun. And emailing back and forth when you don't know if they get your situation, that's not the way to go. So the TurboTax app has you covered, and you can download all your documents, have them downloaded, be able to view them on your app immediately. Once you go in, you talk to a real person, you leave knowing that somebody is taking care and helping you get every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's a relief. So head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today. Oop. Don't know how that happened. I'll cut that out.
Okay. Ready?
3, 1 second.
2. Okay.
I'm gonna do this. All right, and we are back, Mike. We are here to talk about Mr. Clayton Kershaw, who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Had a great career, played with the Dodgers his entire career, but he's looking at getting back into baseball.
Kinda. They brought him back officially as a special assistant. Now that is a very general, broad term. And the funny thing is, Clayton really doesn't know what he's going to be doing. It's just one of those situations that, I'm sure there's going to be some shaking hands, kissing babies, that kind of stuff. But then there's also going to be probably a little bit of travel. He is not going to be hanging out in LA every day. He's going to be in Dallas at his home. The funny thing was that he was actually at Dodger Stadium opening day. He got his ring, but he was also part of the broadcast. He was actually a part of the opening day broadcast as some kind of color analyst. I think he was actually sitting by the dugout. He wasn't up in the booth. He was sitting by the dugout, which had to be just incredibly strange, because the last time we saw him in a Dodger uniform was warming up in the World Series.
Yeah.
You know, when they won the World Series in Game 7, he was actually warming up in the bullpen. So, and then we saw him warming up a couple times for the WBC for the USA team. He never did pitch. So he's not exactly sure what he's going to do, but there's going to be a little bit of broadcasting. I think he's scheduled to do another game in July or something like that. But not a surprise that Clayton Kershaw all of a sudden is going to remain in the Dodger uniform. I mean, we're talking about this is one of the best pitchers of this generation. And there's arguments that he may be one of the top 2 or 3. I mean, you're talking about an 11-time All-Star. He won 3 Cy Youngs, and I think there's an argument he should have won at least 1, probably maybe 2, even 3 more.
Wow.
That's how good he was, through his, through his 20s. And then even once, he was in his 30s, he was still outstanding. Pitched for 18 seasons.
So, Mike, if he's a special assistant, would he do things like help out with pitching development, maybe, going down there, talking to some of the pitchers, conferring with the pitching coaches? Will a special assistant, could he lend his knowledge to different aspects of the game and kind of be almost like, I guess, an off the field strategist? I don't know what you would call it, but
he doesn't know, but could he? Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a guy. This dude has a career ERA. Okay. Now we're talking about a guy that pitched for 18 seasons. He won 233 games. He did not even lose 96 losses. He has a career ERA of 2.53. That is absolutely spectacular. In the day and age of, people blasting the ball out of the ballpark and doing everything offensively that we have seen, to say he is one of the best, I think it doesn't even give him credit enough for what he has done. So what is he going to do? There may be strategy involved. There may be him, going down, maybe doing some minor league trips to some of their top pitching prospects, talk to them about, the confidence and what he went through. But there'll also be, there'll also be appearances. There will be, anything and everything. Now, the funny thing is, it's going to be up to what Clayton wants to do. And this special assistant situation, it may grow over time. You got to remember, he is what, 5 days into his retirement? Because I don't really call it retirement until the next season starts. So
there you go.
Has just started his retirement, and I'm sure he wants to hang out at home with his kids. He's also, a philanthropist. He does charity work.
He does a ton of community work.
I mean, this dude seriously is the salt of the earth. He really does a lot of stuff.
And so there is an argument to be made because, towards the end of his career, he dealt with some injuries. He dealt with, staying healthy, stay on the mound. There's a possibility that his impact off the field in his first few years could be almost more impactful than what he offered in his last couple of years on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words,
I mean, he was still 2025. He was still pretty good. I mean, you're talking about,
but I'm just
his
saying,
last season, he was 11-2 with a 3.36 ERA through 112 innings. I mean, he was still, this wasn't a guy that, held on for a couple
was
of
hanging
years.
by a thread.
That's why his career ERA is 2.53. I mean, it's because 2024, he had a higher ERA. He had a 4.5 ERA, but only pitched 30 innings. There's your.
You know what? I think he wants that third ring too. I think he wants that third. I mean, hey,
with what he did for this organization, even if he wasn't a quote unquote special assistant,
well, that's true.
I would think he would get a ring. He would get a ring. But now he is officially part of this organization.
Right.
And we are all just so surprised that he's back with the Dodgers. I mean, it's just a shock.
No, not at all. No. I really thought he would go to the Royals, but I digress.
The Rangers. The Rangers, remember the Rangers?
Ooh,
he was gonna become a Texas Ranger. Yeah.
I remember that. A Texas guy was gonna go to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually happens quite a bit. So on our next show, Mike, we're gonna tackle the height of players and who's telling the truth and who's
Yes.
not. We haven't gotten into that, but there was something that, came out about that because of the dawn of the ABS era.
Right.
And now all of a sudden players are shrinking. They're not growing.
There was a couple, and we will get into this. There was a couple that actually gained height, but a large portion of Major League Baseball actually shrunk.
Now, I will say this. In 1996, when I was playing in the men's club volleyball national tournament for Howard Payne University.
National tournament.
We were ranked 17th in the country. We were ranked 17th in the country, went to the University of Arizona to play this tournament. I was listed at 5'11". There's no time in my life where I've ever been 5'11". I can assure you that.
He's standing on the first step of the stairs.
But my coach, Damon Wilson, who God love his soul, he's up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, coaching girls high school volleyball, phenomenal guy. He said, Brett, I couldn't put you in at 5'8" because we were already a short team. You were killing our average height.
Hey, and you know what? That is something that, believe it or not, happens in probably every sport.
Yeah.
I mean, you add a little bit, maybe you're a football player, you add a couple pounds, or,
now I know.
Now
I know how Alex Bregman feels.
There you go. Because he's grown and shrunk a couple times.
Yes. I know, maybe he's visited Willy Wonka,
but I will say another tease for the next show is that some of these guys aren't upset about that. And we'll tell you that the next show.
Yeah, that's right. We want to thank you all for tuning in to Back to the Bullpen. This has been a great podcast. We want you to make us your first listen. And again, like we talked about, we're going to be talking about who is what height and why that is changing. If you never missed an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. You get Back to the Bullpen free, ad-free, Back to the Bullpen ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to Locked On Podcast Networks /Everydayer or lockedonpodcast.com /Everydayer. And for those of you on video, we send you the first ever 24/7 Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel, and on audio for your second listen. Make sure you listen to our pal solely at Locked On MLB. For myself, for Mike, and everybody here at Back to the Bullpen, thank y'all for tuning in. We're out.
Adios.